Biggie was a wise man, and one of the most perceptive things he ever said was,
"That's real, yo. I ain't exaggerating at all, man. The more money you make, the more problems you get. And jealousy and envy is something that comes with the territory, man. A lot of people, it's just negative energy, like my man Puff say."
Earning boatloads of cash is one thing, hanging on to it is another. The rapper lifestyle isn't for everyone, and between the parties, bling, and massive mansions, they didn't really pay attention to their bank account. A bunch of big-time rappers went broke, and today, I'll tell you about some of them. Nas. Nasty Nas, or just Nas, broke out in 1994 when he dropped Illmatic. Pretty soon, Nas had become a household name, going on worldwide tours and selling about 25 million records over the years. But a couple of bad choices and messy divorce left him broke and almost homeless in 2012. Nas seemed to be doing pretty well for himself in 2005 when he married Khalees Rogers Moore, who was in the industry herself. But their marriage was spent in conflict, and just a few years later, Khalees filed for divorce. It was soon revealed that Nas owed over $6 million to the IRS in back taxes and $700,000 to his manager. Regardless, he was told to pay Khalees $50,000 in child support and an additional $300,000, which Nas claimed would bankrupt him. Things went from bad to worse in 2012 when Nas lost his Georgia home after failing to make his mortgage payment. In 2014, Nas' other ex took him to court claiming she was owed $11,000 in child support. After a few years out of the spotlight, Nas decided to refocus on music once more in 2018. His work paid off as King's Disease won Best Rap Album at the Grammys in 2021, his only Grammy win so far out of 15 nominations. Exhibit's career really took off in 1996 as he became a big name on the scene with 1 platinum record and 2 gold albums. And then,
so you want to be a player, but your wheels ain't flying. You gotta hit us up to get a pimped out ride.
the show ran from 2004 to 2007 and seemed to be Exhibit's meal ticket. In 2007, Exhibit earned nearly $500,000, but when the show got canceled, the money stopped coming in. He still made around $70,000 the following year, but he didn't do too much to cut costs, lifestyle-wise. Exhibit burned through over $2,000 every month leasing a Range Rover. That's right, the host of Pimp My Ride didn't have his own ride. By 2009, his 7,650 square foot mansion was also on the brink of foreclosure. He ended up being $1.4 million in debt, and the IRS came calling as well, citing back taxes of about $1 million that Exhibit failed to pay, even when Pimp My Ride was on the air. He tried filing for bankruptcy twice, once in July 2009 and once in January 2010, but his requests were dismissed. He's not going to be pimping any rides anytime soon. Lil Bibby. Lil Bibby is both a cautionary tale and a lesson in turning your fortunes around. He first announced himself on the hip-hop scene back in 2013 with his mixtape Free Crack. A few follow-ups to the mixtape and the contract with RCA Records meant that Bibby was impressing all the right people in the industry. Bibby was about 19 when he made it big, and managing his finances wasn't high on his agenda. Excessive unchecked spending, mostly on designer clothes, meant that the rising star was on the brink of financial ruin. To his credit, Bibby made a couple of smart choices. He began saving from his performances and learned about real estate. A few smart investments had the money rolling in, and Bibby was able to retire from the scene altogether at the age of 23. He's still a part of the industry though. Bibby founded his own record label called Grade A Productions. Bibby played a major role in the launching of Juice WRLD and The Kid Laroi, so it's safe to say he's got an eye for talent. Ja Rule. Ja Rule has become a bit of a joke these days, thanks to his association with the Fyre Festival. But there was a time when Ja Rule was dominating the hip-hop scene. Despite millions of sales, Rule repeatedly found himself in trouble because he just didn't know how to handle his money. In 2011, the rapper stated that he hadn't paid income tax on the $3 million that he earned between 2004 and 2006. He ended up in prison for over 2 years, and by 2013, he still had an outstanding bill of $1.1 million. The IRS wasn't done with him though, because in 2021, they claimed Ja Rule still owed just over $3 million in back taxes. Between that and the $100 million class action lawsuit he got pulled into for the Fyre Festival, Ja Rule has had his hands full. T-Pain. The king of autotune. There was a time when T-Pain was inevitable. Arguably one of the most recognizable voices on the radio, Pain's dominance of the industry earned him a net worth of $40 million. In 2019, he appeared on The Breakfast Club and claimed that he lost his entire fortune. Pain said that poor real estate investments sucked all his money into a black hole. He claimed he wasn't entirely to blame, shifting the focus onto his manager, who was extremely optimistic about buying dumps and flipping them for a profit. The ill-advised investments left him so broke that he had to borrow money for his kids to get some Burger King. DMX. DMX was arguably one of the most popular rappers of the 90s, but prolonged financial mismanagement led him to trying to declare bankruptcy in 2009. His claim was denied, but he tried once more in 2013. He claimed that his assets amounted to $50,000, while he was in $1 to $10 million in debt. Most of this debt was in the form of child support payments, but his claim was denied again. He probably thought the third time was the charm and filed once more in 2016, claiming that he was even more in debt. DMX reportedly claimed that he had absolutely no money and that his only asset, his house, was in danger of foreclosure. In 2018, the IRS came for him, claiming they were owed about $2.29 million. DMX ended up serving a year in prison for tax evasion before his passing in 2021 at the age of 40. Fat Joe. Fat Joe had been on the scene for a while before he first ran into trouble with the law. He owed about $150,000 to the state of New Jersey in 2010, but was able to pay it off in time. A couple of years later, Joe got into trouble once more, but it was much worse this time. Joe owed the government on earnings of over $3 million and faced up to 2 years in prison. But to his credit, Joe worked hard to pay off his dues, did some charity work, and a number of people sent in letters on his behalf, essentially stating that he was a real stand-up guy. As a result, that 2-year sentence was cut down to just a few months, and Joe went to prison for tax evasion. That wasn't the end of his woes though. He got in trouble with the IRS in 2016 as well, this time owing a sum of about $1.1 million. In a 2019 interview, he implored young rappers to have a sound business plan to avoid falling into trouble. He cited Jay-Z and Diddy as two artists who used and managed their wealth wisely, unlike him. 50 Cent. Once 50 Cent released his first major album, Get Rich or Die Trying, in 2003, he was a made man. The album was a massive commercial success and went platinum 9 times over. The album's success allowed him to form G-Unit the same year and buy a mansion previously owned by Mike Tyson. Everything seemed to be going great until a series of bad investments in 2008 swallowed most of his money. Remember the recession? The rest of the cash went towards supporting his crazy lifestyle and feuding with Rick Ross. 50 Cent managed to burn through $470 million, forcing him to declare bankruptcy in 2015. Instead of seeing it as a bad thing, 50 has stated that the bankruptcy was ultimately helpful, as it allowed him to start over. His ill fortune was short-lived as well, because soon after declaring bankruptcy, 50 Cent signed a deal worth $150 million to produce and act in Power. Power got better with time, running for 6 seasons, with the last episode airing in February 2020. 6ix9ine. Perhaps more than his music, 6ix9ine, or Tekashi 6ix9ine, is known for his rainbow-colored hair, extensive ink, and talent for having run-ins with the law. Most recently, 6ix9ine finds himself wrapped up in a civil lawsuit thanks to a 2018 robbery where he was present. Documents coming out of the lawsuit have revealed that the rapper informed the judge that he was pretty much bankrupt. The $11.8 million sought after by the plaintiffs will leave him beyond broke, especially considering the fact his career is somewhat stalled since his involvement in taking down members of the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods gang. In March of last year, Wack 100 revealed that 6ix9ine was extremely broke and that he lent the rapper $20 for gas. 6ix9ine's been pretty quiet for the last year, so it's unlikely he managed to turn things around. MC Hammer. The 90s were a bit of a roller coaster for MC Hammer. He started off the decade by releasing Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, which remains arguably one of the best-selling hip-hop albums of all time. It was also revealed that he had a net worth of about $33 million. But somehow, just 6 years later, Hammer was filing for bankruptcy. He had a mansion worth $30 million and a massive entourage that consisted of about 200 people on his payroll, which ran him anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a month. He had a lengthy list of creditors, which included lawyers, the IRS, countless businesses, and interestingly, former NFL player Deion Sanders as well. Hammer has seemingly made peace with his financial ruin. When he appeared on Oprah in 2011, he said he wouldn't change a thing, as what happened in the 90s eventually led him to find peace in life. Kanye West. Around the mid-2010s, Kanye West ended up with $53 million in debt as a result of several failed ventures in the fashion industry. Enter Yeezy. West shrewdly negotiated a 15% royalty deal with Adidas, in addition to a marketing fee after he chose to sever ties with Nike. In 2015, West released the Yeezy Boost 750s, light brown, which sold out in 10 minutes. Soon enough, those sellout windows had dropped to seconds. Almost immediately, Yeezy drops became major events. In just a few years, Yeezy turned into a billion-dollar behemoth and made West a billionaire as well. Despite repeatedly failing as a designer in the past, West finally struck gold by working with Adidas and turned his previous debt into chump change. West has seen his net worth take a hit in recent months though, as several brands have distanced themselves from him. Time will tell how deep this spiral will be. That's our list. Remember, with great wealth comes great financial responsibility. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like. like. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can stay up to date with all our videos. We'll catch you in the next one.